Hey everybody, how's it going? Back with yet another training video. Again, I'm downstairs in the small office, so I'm going to take my mask off so I can make sure you guys can hear me all good and everything's good. So I went ahead and took the mask off. Hang on 1 second, I got a chair in my way. Okay, so as you can see for today's video, we're going to talk about problem solving. So what exactly is problem solving? Well, to put it simply, it refers to the process of finding a solution to a problem. Finding the answer to the problem is what problem solving is. We all use our knowledge and our experience as well as other information that we have at hand or with us to figure out how to answer a problem. Problem solving is the thought process. We use our head. It involves finding an answer that we have to think about and use our thought process and our skills and what we've learned and maybe our creativity, different things of that to figure out the problem. This could be as complex as working out how to get yourself out of a car. You're stuck in the car. How are you going to get out? Or it could be as easy as how a little 2-year-old little child figures out how to stack blocks. Those are all different parts of problem solving. We've been problem solving since we were little. Everything we've done, how we've learned things, we've done that through problem solving, okay? There's a lot of skills that we use in problem solving. I'm going to mention a few of them. Actually, I'll write them down. Skills used in problem solving. Getting a little sloppy, sorry. One of those skills, which we have talked about many times, is being an active listener. That's a good skill to have to figure out a problem. Maybe you got to sit and think somebody's telling you something, you got to listen to them. I already mentioned this. Another one is maybe creativity. We might be able to find oops, I just spelled that totally wrong. Sorry guys. My spelling's not so good. Creativity. That's another thing. We might have to kind of think out of the box how to get an answer to something. Craig does that a lot of times here with his creativity on making the jigs. We might have a problem of a job. How are we going to, maybe it's a label. So we've identified the problem as we need to get this label on this container and we need to do it in a process that everybody can do it. He uses his creativity and his troubleshooting and his skills to answer that problem, to fix that problem for us through his creativity. Another one, whoa, this one's huge. This probably should have been number one. This should have probably been number one because it intertwines everything. Again, my sloppy handwriting, but communication. How we talk to each other, the information we share with each other, how we listen. That's all part of problem solving. Communication is real important. Another one, I'm just going to list one more. We'll do number 4 because this is technically number 3. Another one is dependability. If someone's wanting you to help on a job or there's something they're depending on you to do, you're part of, dependability kind of helps out in problem solving. Those are just a few, sorry, kind of made a mess. A few little skills that we use for problem solving. So, with that being said, with problem solving, we're going to next talk about maybe some steps that problem solving takes. The first step, I'm going to make 4 steps to problem solving. We got 4 steps. Okay? Step number 1, I'm going to put over here. Step number 1 is we have to define the problem, identify the problem. Gotta define it. So the problem in what I talked about earlier was this labeling job's really hard. We need to come up with a way for everybody to be able to do it pretty easy. So then the next would be make a plan. Make a plan. Okay, our plan maybe is to work with Craig, tell him what we need, how it needs to be done, make a plan. Our plan is to make a jig. That's going to be our plan. Take action take action is going to be your third step. And with that being said, Craig would go back. We'd tell him what we need, get measurements, do all the information that we need, anything he would need for that job, because he's made something to put on, round containers, flat things, tiny things. So he'd need all that information. Then he's going to go back, take action, and work on making that jig. And through his creativity and through his thought process and everything, he's probably going to come up with a result, or a jig, we'll say, but check your result. So he's come up with that idea, and what we do is we'll get a label, and we'll give it a try, and we'll see if that works. Makes it pretty simple to work for you guys. We might even have a few of you guys test it out for us, see if that'll work. Okay, so then we test our result. And if that doesn't work, maybe part of it does, then we start back over and say, okay, on the jig, this part's not working right. So that's our problem with the jig. Then we're going to make a plan to fix that jig. And then we'll take the action and fix that little section of it. And then we're going to check our results and see how we changed it, how we fixed it, if that fixed the whole problem and all the labels are really good. So that's some problem solving steps. Our next part is I'm going to go over a little simple drawing demonstration of a problem, and we'll talk about how to work it out. And this is just kind of a little fun little demonstration. No picking on me and my drawing skills though, okay? All right, no picking on. We're going to talk about the problem here in a second. Okay, so the second problem we're going to talk about today and use our problem solving is the cookie and the ants. So, no making fun of my drawing, but these are little ants, okay? This is their home. So we got our ants over here. This is their home over here. And then we got our cookie. Now, the ants want to get this big cookie, it's really big, to their home, but they just got this little bitty hole. We can see the cookie's this big. If you take it over here, it would never fit in that hole. So, the problem is the cookie is too big and probably too heavy, but I don't know, ants are pretty strong. But right now, it's too big to fit in the hole to get to their home. So, what can the ants do to make it to get the cookie in their home? So we've identified the problem. Now we need to make a plan. Anybody got any ideas? Think about it. How can this big cookie and these little ants get in this little hole? What do you guys think? I have an idea. Okay, so the problem was the cookie was too big to go in the hole, right? Second part is they thought about breaking it up. So here they broke the cookie up to get it into the hole. And the third part is taking the action. Each one's picking up a little piece of the cookie and they're going to take it to their home. So we have our plan of action we have our problem solving for the cookie. First was we identified the problem. The problem was the cookie was too big to take home. We'll just say to take it home. Okay, that was the problem. They then made a plan. Their second plan was to break the cookie into small pieces. Into small pieces, okay? And then the third part was they took the action. They took action. They took action by breaking the cookie up, and taking it home. And then the first part is they wanted to check out the result, see if it worked. Well, with them breaking it up, then they can have little pieces of cookie down here. Maybe there's a whole bunch of little pieces of cookie all saved up at their home. So they can check. They had the problem was the cookie was too big. They identified the problem. They took action, or they made a plan was to break up the cookie. So they broke it up, and they took action by breaking it up and taking it home. Now, if there's a piece that's too big and they get up here and it's still too big, they have that same problem. It's too big to fit in here. So they could do the whole process over again and break it up. This is just a little simple sample of some problem solving and how you have to use your head and use your creativity and your thought process of different ways to solve some problems. Kind of wanted to make it a little fun. I hope so. Hope my drawing isn't too bad. All right, guys, that's just what I have for today for problem solving. We're going to work on some more problems that you guys will need to solve on Wednesday. Just remember the 4 steps of identifying the problem, make a plan, take action on that, and see the results. And then remember, if your results aren't what you want, if it's not how you want it to go, then maybe you got to start over and try something different. But it's kind of that trial and error that we talk about. You want to keep trying till maybe you get the result. If you're with a group of people, like the ants probably all talked amongst themselves to come up with this idea, so they had their communication. They used their knowledge of knowing that the hole's that small, this is too big. So they used all different parts of their brain, all different parts of communication. They probably had to listen to each other. All those different parts had to come all together for this problem to be solved. See you guys on Wednesday.